I'm Jeff Philbin. This is the Dinner Diaz kitchen, although truth be told, there aren't actually any other rooms in the Dinner Diaz house, and I have looked, they're nowhere around. Anyhow, it's Taco Tuesday, and we have an idea for dinner to make it a great one. We're making Calabash shrimp tacos with okra succotash and a spicy buttermilk crema. Here to share his take on Taco Tuesday is Chef Jerry Sizemore. He's chef de cuisine with Haven in Tampa. Chef Jerry has a taco dia he's sharing, which was inspired by childhood summers with your family in North Carolina.
Yes, sir, that's right. So I used to had the option of going to summer camp at Grandpa's, and we'd go to grandparents, and on Sundays we would go to a Dry Dock Seafood and get some fried shrimp and big old plates of fried shrimp. I just remember eating that as a kid until I was,
so cool.
Couldn't eat it anymore. So,
all right, what do we need to do first?
So we're gonna make a buttermilk crema, and that's gonna be an overnight thing. So right now I just have a little bit of heavy cream in here.
Okay.
We just want it shimmering, just kind of warm. It doesn't need to be hot at all. This is just gonna set up so that our quarter cup of buttermilk is gonna essentially curd the rest of the cream.
Okay.
So what we're going to end up with in 24 hours is a thicker consistency, so much like a sour cream maybe.
Okay, so that's how that's all going to come together. So we don't want it to boil. We don't want it to be, just a little bit more than room temperature, a little bit more than just that.
Pretty much, yeah. People say a watch pot never boils, but you definitely want to watch this one or you might scorch it. So,
all right, very cool.
We got the cream here. We're going to add it. I'm just going to add it into this measuring cup just to make it a little easier to pour into my airtight jar.
Okay.
So basically, I'm just going to take my cream, put it on in here. We have like a little bit of warmness, but it's not very hot, so we're perfect right here.
Okay.
Then I'm just going to take a quarter cup of buttermilk, and the acid from the buttermilk is going to do its thing overnight, so we pretty much put it in here. You can give it a stir, but since we're going to pour it in here, I think that's going to give it enough to make it move. So yeah, and then the hardest part here is just making sure we get it all in the jar. We're going to lock it up and let it sit overnight, and that's it.
That's it?
Yes, it's very easy. People are intimidated about leaving it over on the counter at night. Really, the acid here is going to...
Because you're not going to put this in the fridge here.
No, we're not going to put it in the fridge. We're going to leave it out overnight.
So, is there any concerns there for any of what's going to happen potentially? Because, you think like, hey, I'm going to leave, something that's cream-based outside, like, at room temperature. No, you're okay with that?
Yeah, I am okay with that. It is the norm to think that, all cream and stuff like that should be in the cooler for the most part. But when we do add that acid to it, we're making it safe to eat. We're actually going to let that sit for 24 hours, and then we're going to add more acid to it with some lime juice and some cayenne pepper to finish it off.
Wait.
It is nice and safe.
To grab the recipe for not just the crema, but all the parts of this delicious dish, go to dinnerdiaz.com. We even have a QR code there on the screen, so you can get your phone, open the camera app, and when you have that little box in view, a link to us will appear for you to click and find us the quick way. All right, so 24 hours later, this will be ready to go for it there.
Yep, that's about it. So we'll just let
Put that to the side,
yep.
And then what do we need to do next?
We're going to dice up our green tomato real quick.
Okay.
I have pre-prepared a salt brine.
What do you have inside that brine?
So per gallon, we're going to put half a cup of sugar, 1 cup of salt, and then you're just going to put that in warm water again, just so it's all dispersed.
Okay.
Now you have a delicious brine for vegetables, anything you want to do. It doesn't have to be green tomatoes.
Okay.
I like to add the brine to the tomato just to kind of give it a little bit more brightness.
Okay.
Then we're going to take the tomato and kind of get little planks that we want. So, looking for the size. Then we're going to lay them out flat, and we're going to go back and make a nice dice. So basically, you just go back here, plank it off.
Chef came over here and get real close, because so many people think about how important it is to make sure that you get a really good dice.
Yeah, so you just really want to work it from a plank to a baton and then back into a dice. So if you kind of work with all your vegetables like that, you'll get good cuts out of it. Knife time takes practice, so the only way to do it is get in there and cut some stuff.
Yeah, it's all about that uniformity, and that's what you're looking for in a cut like this.
Yeah, that way you get a little bit more dispersive flavor. When the succotash comes all together, it's all smaller pieces and little bits of flavor all up in your mouth.
And speaking about flavor, we're going to be submerging this inside that salt brine. How long is that going to all kind of come together?
You really don't want to exceed 45 minutes, but anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes.
Super quick then.
Yeah, pretty quick. So it's one of the first things you can do when you're getting everything ready. You just kind of throw it in the bowl and forget about it.
I love it. Same day preparation.
Yeah, it's just going to add a little bit of moisture, salt, and sugar just to kind of brighten up that tomato. I think when everybody kind of thinks about tomatoes, they kind of always think about the fried green tomato, which, don't get me wrong, is one of my favorite things.
I know, isn't that like?
However, we got to use the green tomato in other ways as well. So
that's actually a really good point, because you think like the fried green tomato, and that's the only thing that comes to mind. But like you're saying, Chef Jerry, no man, like this is a new way that if you wanted to take some element of this whole dish, this could be one thing that someone could take and to be able to evolve into another dish too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, you just give it a gentle little shake just so everything's submerged and swimming. Now it's collecting some flavor, a little salt, a little sugar, and it's going to be delicious when it goes into the succotash.
I love it. Now, is this going to go into the fridge? Does this stay out?
It can stay out room temp, and then when we're ready for it, we'll kind of just pull out what we need and let the water will be discarded.
I love it. All right, so what's next?
Next, we're going to take corn. We're going to throw that in the oven here and get it roasting up.
All right, so that one seems like there's a whole lot of preparation. We have oven, corn. Those just kind of just go together?
Yeah, so it's a pretty easy one. My favorite way to do corn is really just to throw it in there whole and let it do its thing.
How long is it going to be inside the oven for, and what temperature?
About 35 minutes, 30 minutes at 350. You want to look for the husk to get kind of that golden brown color. The inside of the jacket's going to steam that thing perfectly.
And that husk is going to stay on, so that way we have all of those flavors, all that moisture just kind of permeating through.
Yeah, I think it's like the best way to do it without a lot of mess. It's just right in there, and then we'll make the mess later. So, and then we're gonna.
I dig that.
Yeah, yeah. And then, so lastly, we're just gonna take a little bit of oil. We're gonna char up our okra, and we're gonna char up our poblano pepper to get ready for the succotash.
Very cool.
So we'll probably make a little smoke here. That's what we're looking for.
So no chopping. We're just gonna take all of that okra straight to our grill pan.
Yeah, I like to be a little lazy with it sometimes. It's a little easier just to put the whole thing on there, right? So we'll put the poblano pepper on there. Well, yeah, you can also put this like straight up on a grill flame if you have a grill going outside. We're looking to almost burn these. So you really want some nice char on the outside. We'll give them a little roll in the oil to get them going nice and sizzly. The more oil is going to kind of help them. There we go. That's the sound we're looking for.
And that sound right there.
So you really want to melt them. The okra, you want a good black char on the outside. We're going to leave that whole and let them kind of wilt. And we're going to embrace the slime. We're going to cut those into nice little rings. And we're going to add that all. It's going to become almost our dressing to our succotash.
I love that. We're going to embrace the slime, man. That is the word of the day right there. We're taking a quick break. And when we come back, we're making our own tortillas from scratch. Let's see how this chef does it ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. We're talking tacos on this Tuesday with Chef Jerry Sizemore from Haven in Tampa. He's here to share a recipe for a fried shrimp taco inspired by childhood summers in North Carolina, his Calabash shrimp tacos. Before the break, we started the crema. We'll be serving them by warming some heavy cream, then adding buttermilk and letting it sit at room temperature in an airtight jar for 24 hours. Then we start getting our ingredients ready for the succotash. We put some green tomatoes in a salt brine, roasted some corn in the oven, and used a grill pan to char okra and poblano peppers. What's next then?
So now we have all of our fun ingredients here. We're really just going to mix everything together. So I got the roasted corn from earlier. We have some onions that we diced and just sweat a little bit in a saute pan, literally just a little bit of oil until they're kind of translucent, just to break them down a little bit.
You just wanted to break them down so they just didn't have that really oniony bite behind it?
Yeah,
Is that why you're doing
just kind of mix it all just to give it a little bit more tameness.
Okay.
Then we got the poblano peppers that we mixed in here. My favorite, the okra.
Come on now.
And then we're also going to take that brined tomato. We brine the tomato just to kind of bring out some of the sweetness of it. I think everybody thinks about fried green tomatoes when they think about a green tomato. I like to give you a little bit different of a viewpoint on it, so we just cut it up just like a regular tomato. But say you didn't like tomatoes, you didn't like green tomatoes, you could totally change this up a little bit and add, regular tomatoes in there if you want.
So cool.
So we're just going to mix that up. Should give us some nice and good color there. It's really just kind of a relish that's going to sit on top of our taco.
Very nice.
And then I'm going to add just a really small touch of olive oil just to kind of get it to fluid together. And then our sherry vinegar. And then if you could reach over yonder and just throw a handful of salt in there for me, and I think we're ready to rock.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
A little more, good.
I think we can give it a shot for good luck. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Love that.
That's our succotash right there. So that's gonna go right on top of our taco.
All
We're
right.
ready to rock.
Now, tortilla time.
Tortilla time, that's the best time, right?
It's the best time.
So we have some red masa. You can get masa from almost anybody. You can get it at the grocery store.
Okay.
You can get it, so it's just mixolized corn and put into masa form. So here we're using a red masa.
Okay.
You have blue masa, you have white masa. I kind of like the color of the red masa. It's a nice floral corn flavor.
Totally.
And it's really equal parts. So you got a cup of masa in there.
Okay.
You're gonna add a good healthy pinch of salt.
Okay.
Into
Can I help
the
you with
jar.
all this?
Yeah.
All
Go
right,
ahead
cool.
and do it. Get in there, man. Yeah.
All right,
and that
all right.
looks like a good pinch there. And then I would say pour about 3/4 worth of your water in there first.
Okay.
Start mixing it up until you get a dough. Once you start to get a dough, you might need a little more or less water, just depending on it.
Okay.
When you get it into a ball and you press it against your hand, if the edges are cracked, it's not quite hydrated enough. You
All
need
right.
a little bit more water.
And this is one, just get your fingers in and
get
just kind
in
of
there.
get right into
That's
it.
what cooking's about. You gotta
I
get
love-
dirty. Get in
Come
there.
on now.
Yeah.
To celebrate the shrimp on this Taco Tuesday for your dinner, grab Chef Jerry's recipe for everything he's making here at dinnerdeas.com. That's where we have all the amounts, the ingredients, and the directions. Just scan the QR code down there in the corner. All right.
All right, and then while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get the egg batter ready. So we got eggs here, just gonna give them a nice little mix.
And that's going to be for our shrimp.
This is for the shrimp, yes.
Okay.
Jumping to the shrimp. So we use rock shrimp here, just to give a little ode to the Gulf of Mexico.
Nice.
These are found, they call them rock shrimp because the shell of them are so hard that usually a machine is what just extracts them.
Okay.
So they're nice little small popcorn-sized shrimp, one of my favorite shrimps to use. And I think it'll add a nice touch to our Calabash fried. So Calabash Seafood is a region in North Carolina. It's a coastal fishing town, and fried seafood is a staple of what they do. That's kind of the style of what we're imitating today.
Okay.
And that's where we're gonna kind of get our inspiration from for that. We can go ahead and put our shrimp in here and just let them sit in that batter while we get our dry together. Just gonna give it a nice little mix here, just so that they can kind of sit in there. And then meanwhile, we're gonna go over here. I have some flour, I have some smoked paprika, I have some black pepper. I'm gonna put it all in there. And then I have a little bit of garlic powder, so a very simple dredge. And then we're also gonna steal some salt from your side of the
Pass one over.
ballpark over here. Yeah. Sweet. So we're just gonna kind of like lightly whisk that all together, just so it's all incorporated. And we're pretty much ready. So we're gonna take the shrimp out of the dredge. We're gonna put it in here, and then we're ready to fry.
Can't wait.
All right, so just make sure we're nice and mixed up here. You kind of want to just get the edge of the fork or spoon here so you get as much of the egg off of it, but I like a little extra egg batter, little crunchy bits.
Okay.
It's kind of good in my opinion. So we're just gonna take all the shrimp out of there. You could use like a slotted spoon here if you want to get it all out, or you could pour it off into another pan and drain it off completely.
Now, could you use frozen shrimp in this dish?
You could absolutely use frozen shrimp. It does not have to be rock shrimp. If you'd like fried fish better, you could do that with the same recipe. This is a very versatile, you can switch it up a lot. Say you don't like garlic, you could use onion powder. Say you want it to be spicy, you could use cayenne here instead of the smoked paprika.
Okay.
There's all kinds of things we can do to kind of make it your own and do it the way you like it.
Very cool.
So get all this together, and then we're just gonna give it a good little mix here. So we got our little shaker here. You're gonna get in there, get dirty, make sure. It's good to get in there and kind of get in between the shrimp so you get more individualized pieces, get that flour all over the place. And then it's very important when you're frying at home. We did use a thermometer for this, so you don't want to really exceed anything above like 375 degrees. You want to stay somewhere in the pocket of about 350 degrees is kind of your optimal frying. You just have to be careful when you're frying at home. I tell people all the time, you can definitely fry at home. You just really have to take that extra care and be
Gotta be safe.
very diligent. Yeah, just make sure you're using a thermometer at home and not really exceeding those high temperatures, and it should be fine. You want to fry just a moderate amount in the oil. You don't want to fry, 3 pounds of shrimp in this small oil. That's going to make it boil over. But here we should be good. So we're just going to carry this on over here, give it a nice little shake, and we're going on in. Into the bath.
Well, we're gonna keep an eye on these shrimp so you don't have to. And when we come back from the break, we'll show you how to press the perfect tortilla from this dough ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. It's raining tacos today. Not literally, that would be absolute chaos. Rather, we're sharing an idea for tacos that you could have tonight for your dinner. Thanks to Chef Jerry Sizemore from Haven, who's brought us his Calabash shrimp tacos, and we're even making the tortillas from scratch. Before the break, we finished up our succotash, mainly so we could keep saying the word succotash because it is such a fun word, combining roasted corn, charred okra, and poblano peppers, our brine green tomatoes, and some onion, sherry vinegar, and olive oil. Then made our tortilla dough by simply mixing red masa and salt with water and kneading it. While we did that, we fried up our shrimp in a batter of eggs, buttermilk, flour, garlic powder, black pepper, and smoked paprika. And those are to that liking of just being pure golden brown delicious right there.
That's kind of what we're looking for,
I love that. That's going to go so well within these tortillas. What do we need to do next with these tortillas?
All right, so you feeling strong? You ready
Let's
to press some tacos?
I'm all into the tortilla mixing
cool.
today.
This is actually a really nice press, so you don't have to be that strong, but I'm sure you're strong enough to do this.
I hope so, at least.
So we're gonna take a scoop out of the black scoop, gonna kind of smash it against your hand, so you get a nice tight scoop there. And then we have, I just cut parchment paper into squares, kind of the same size as the press. And that's kind of line the inside, so we're just gonna
So what we're looking for is like a ping pong ball then, really?
Just about the size of a ping pong ball.
Okay.
I think that's a good size. If you were trying to make a really big one at home, you could make it a little bigger, a little smaller, or whatever. But so you're gonna give it one nice press here, boom, and then I like to turn it 90 degrees just to make sure you get that good press on the next side. Meanwhile, we have our pan hot, so once he gets this little extra oomph in there, we should have a nice round pie right there. There it is. So we're gonna add just a touch of oil, not very much at all. You want your pan to be a little bit hotter, but on the hotter side of things, so we'll get a little bit of charred pieces. So give this a little bit of a swirl around. Boom, I think we're pretty ready for that. So we'll put that right into the pan. It should take about a minute per side. So this will go right in there, and then it should peel off if you're lucky. If you're real nice to the taco, tell it nice things, and the dough will release.
Just release, Mr. Dough.
You're a really good taco, buddy. Good job. So,
to make Chef Jerry's top tacos for your dinner, don't forget to grab the recipe at our website, dinnerdeas.com, or scan the QR code down there with your phone. All right. Now what's next?
Now you're pressing that other taco, so we already have our succotash ready to rock. This is ready. The crema, we did add lime to it.
Okay.
So we broke it with the buttermilk initially. We let it go for 24 hours, and then we added a little bit more lime juice to it just to really umph that acid in there.
And that's the acid piece of that you were asking for.
The acid is also going to make sure that this is a safe product for everybody to eat. But here it is. So what you have is a very almost sour cream consistency. I like to make things spicy, so we're going to throw some cayenne in here.
Nice.
And then just a little bit of a touch of salt. A good healthy amount of cayenne. I like it. It's going to turn nice and red on you, and we're looking for that. So that's okay. We'll put a little salt in it and give it a little mix up, and we'll see what we got there. And then we'll be ready to plate these tacos after that.
I love it. Now, is this tortilla up to your liking? Is this ready?
Yeah, we're getting a little golden brown crunchies around the outside, so looking like it's about ready to enjoy.
Right on.
So we're gonna take it right on out of here. Gonna put it in our nice little taco stand that we have. We'll start with a little bit of fried shrimp, so find out your nice scrumptious pieces. We'll put some down here at the bottom to kind of line it, and we'll put another one piece for good luck. Make sure it's a nice, good portion, right?
Very cool.
So we got a nice little taco built there, and then we're gonna put a little succotash on top. Nice and all over that. You want a little bite in there and everything. So I think okra and fried food goes together really good, so I really like to put this one together. And then now that our crema is all ready to rock, we're just gonna put a nice little zigzag here. You can plate however you like. Just give it a little bit of moistness for the taco. So it's also gonna have some heat and a little bit of twang from the buttermilk. And then we're just gonna top it with some nice micro cilantro, and it's taco time.
Oh, come on now, dude. That looks absolutely
Here
fantastic. It's absolutely beautiful. All that's left for us two to do is Taco Tuesday taste test ahead after the break on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. It's Taco Tuesday all day long, and we've been celebrating with Chef Jerry Sizemore from Haven in Tampa. He's been sharing a recipe inspired by his childhood, Calabash shrimp tacos, with even the tortillas made from scratch and so simple to do. my friend, like this is an absolute work of art that takes Taco Tuesday to the next level.
Just trying to step it up a little bit, you know? Just keep it approachable. We can all do this at home, but it's nice, a little bit different as a fish taco, you know?
I absolutely love it. You ready to go in?
Let's do it.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. See the slime from the okra? Puts it all together. It's all about the slime.
It brings it all together. What's your favorite part about this?
I think everything put together in a taco just makes it one beautiful vessel. I really like finger food, so I think my favorite part about this is I can use my hands.
The charring of the poblano took that to another flavor level. All of your vegetables, so good. This crema, like that little burst tanginess behind
Simple, but it's a good trick to pull out.
it. You
know?
need it,
Yeah.
and it's just like one of those tricks to pull out because when you put it all together, you get a dish like this that is out of this world fantastic. And I purposely wanted to get that shrimp right there.
That's the best part. You gotta get a little
dude,
crunch snack afterwards.
It's that little crunch, and it's that batter. It's the flavor that's behind it. Dude, this was absolutely out of this world fantastic. Thanks again to Chef Jerry. To find a link to his restaurant, Haven, and to grab the recipe for this dish, go to dinnerdeals.com, where you can even watch the whole show again if you want to. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time for more Dinner Deals. So good, that, right?